All right, let's go ahead and start this session on our backs. You can be in any form and truly let that be anything, whether it looks like a yoga form or not. You might support portions of your body with other portions. You might find movement or you might find stillness. You might close your eyes or soften your gaze. Let your breath become a little bit heavier. On your next exhale, truly push out all that air from your lungs. And as you inhale, use the rebound of your lungs to fill up fully, perhaps noticing the expansion from front to back, side to side, top to bottom. And continue to find a pace and depth of breath that feels of service to you. I'd like to share with you a Mark Nepo quote. He writes, "Beyond our most earnest intent, our creative efforts allow us to meet and co-create with life, not bend life to our design. Beyond our most earnest intent, our creative efforts allow us to meet and co-create with life, not bend life to our design." And so if it feels of service to you, you might bring to mind a moment where it felt like you were truly in the flow of life and using that momentum of the currents of life to create something or build something, to make a decision, to show up a certain way. Or it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like you were exerting control so much as it felt like you were in alignment. And I share this quote because today that's going to be part of our focus. How can we, in movement, show up with intention, even meeting the wobbles, the sticky spots, letting that be part of the practice too, not in opposition to it. On your next inhale, take a nice full breath. Exhale through the mouth, let it go. On an inhale, stretch your arms out overhead, taking a nice long stretch through your side bodies. You might slide your heels to be underneath your knees. And then from here, while maintaining the stretch, go ahead, press into your feet and lift your hips about halfway up. Draw your pubic bone and tailbone evenly toward the front of the mat, and then lift up a little bit more. And exhale, lower it down. Do that once more. Inhale, lift halfway up. Pubic bone, tailbone evenly toward the front edge of the mat. Check that weight is evenly between all four corners of each foot, and then press a little bit more, lifting your hips. And exhale all the way down. Go ahead and bring your arms out to a T. We're going to bring our legs up overhead, point and flex your toes, waking up through the back and front sides of your legs. Maybe circle out your ankles. And then from here, you can bend halfway into your knees. Draw your knees in toward your left armpit, away through center, in toward right armpit, away through center, in toward left, away through center, in toward right. Let this motion continue to happen as you think of your shoulders and your pelvis growing quite heavy in the mat. The back of your head is heavy onto the mat. Try to soften through your larger muscle groups. Let some momentum creep into this. And the next time your knees are to the left, go ahead and lower them all the way down to the mat. Finding a supine twist here, you might lift your ankles and reach out of your tailbone, or you might stay really heavy and let gravity do the work. Wait for an inhale, lift your legs as a unit with the muscles of your core, and then let's find those half circles with the knees for just a few more cycles. The next time your knees are over to the right, go ahead and lower them down. Move through whatever you moved through on the other side. Use the muscles of your core to return your legs through center. Go ahead and straighten your legs any amount, maybe give them a kick or a wiggle. And then from here, we can bring arms down by our hips. Gently press into your fingertips. You might begin to lift your hips just a little bit, swinging your legs to build some momentum. If it feels okay in your body, you can escalate this until you feel that you can rock all the way up to a seat. Of course, if that doesn't feel okay, then avoid that and use your hands to come up to a seat. From here, we'll inhale arms all the way up. And exhale, lower right hand, bend into that elbow as you lean over, stretching through your left side body. Inhale through center. And exhale, left hand lowers, bend that elbow, lean to the left. Inhale through center. Exhale, let's twist to the right. Take a moment to draw your shoulders toward one another on your back. On your next inhale, sit a little bit taller. And on your exhale, find a twist from your navel. Wait for an inhale to come, to unwind all the way back through center. And exhale to the left. Shoulders back. Lengthen on an inhale. Twist on an exhale. Inhale back through center. Exhale, let's bring hands down behind us. On tented fingers, you can step your feet about mat's distance apart. Lower your knees one direction and then the other. The next time your knees are over to the left, we're going to leave them lowered. Plant your left palm. Helicopter your right arm around to lift up onto your shins. Feel this stretch through your body. And gently lower out. Right hand comes back, knees come over to the right. Helicopter your left arm around, find your lift, and gently reverse out. Back through center, we again have two options to transition. You can use your hands to press up to a low squat, or you can use a rock to bring yourself to a low squat. But from here, take a moment to press into your feet evenly. Feel your sit bones draw together so that your knees are naturally drawing out to the sides. You can always press palm to palm and use your elbows to press into your knees if you like that feedback in your body. Or you can keep your hands in the center without elbows making contact. One more breath here. Reach your hands forward, palms face down. We're going to lift halfway up. As you do so, pause at that halfway point. Keep your chest up. Lift all the way, arms reach up. Catch your right wrist with your left fingertips. Plant your feet beneath your hips. And exhale, lean over to the left, hips go right. Inhale through center, switch that grip. Exhale to the right, hips go left. Inhale through center. Take a moment here to lift tall, create length from your tailbone all the way through the crown of your head. And then bend your knees deeply as you exhale, fold it down. Fingertips on the mat, let's step right foot back. Lower that knee, breath in as you look up. And exhale, plant your hands, find your plank. First plank of practice, really press the mat away with your hands. You are always welcome to lower your knees, still keep that pressure into your hands either way. One more breath here. Knees aren't lowered, go ahead and lower them. We're gonna lower chest and chin, hips stay slightly lifted, and then pull your heart through as your pelvis lands, shoulders down and back. Heart comes through for cobra. Exhale to release. Press your knees into the mat, lift your navel up, keep a long line from shoulders to knees as you press back to hands and knees, and downward facing form. Take a couple of breaths in your down dog, your first one of this practice. On an inhale, right leg's gonna sweep high. Exhale, step it forward, lower your left knee, breath in. On your exhale, left foot steps forward, find your fold. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Press your hips back in space as your heart comes forward. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, rise all the way up. Overhead, right fingertips catch left wrist. Exhale, lean to your right. Inhale through center, switch your grip. Exhale, lean left. Inhale through center. This time, interlace your fingers except for index fingers. Draw your shoulders back. And we're gonna gently lean back with our hearts reaching upward. Keep your tailbone anchored down, inviting the gentlest back bend in, opening through your shoulders in the process. Inhale to inflate your way back up. And exhale, fold it all the way down. Let there be a bend in your knees. We're here for just a couple moments, but you can feel free to shake it out. As you're ready, you'll plant your fingertips and step your left foot back. Lower that knee as you take a breath in and look up. Exhale to plant your hands and step it back. Plank form, second time. Keep pressing the mat away with your hands. Let there be some roundness between your shoulders. From here, we're gonna lower knees, send hips back as you look forward. Let your elbows lower toward the mat, and then keeping your chest somewhat low, begin to scoot your way forward as your elbows lift, pelvis lands, and heart comes through, cobra. Exhale to let that go. Again, press into the mat with your knees, with your hands, lift your navel away, and find your way to hands and knees with strength. Bring it back, downward facing. Take a couple breaths here, noticing the effects of that warm up, of moving so quickly, going from standing all the way down to the mat, from the front of the mat to the back of the mat. How does that feel in your body at this point? And on an inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it through. Lower your right knee, breath in, look up. Exhale, right foot forward, find a fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hips go back, heart goes forward. Inhale all the way up. Exhale your hands to heart center, soften your knees. Take a moment of pause here. You might feel your heart beating a little bit faster. Maybe your temperature has changed. Where are you meeting yourself? Are there places that feel forced? And if so, can there be a gentler approach? Go ahead and blink your eyes open if they were closed. From here, we're going to inhale those arms up. On the exhale, fold it all the way down. Hands on the mat. And from here, pressing into the mat, as though our weight is on our hands, we're going to begin to tiptoe backwards. which we don't often do. We often tiptoe forwards. So it might feel a little funky. Once you're back into a downward dog, let yourself explore it for a moment. We're going to start our first official set of the night. On an inhale, lift your right leg high. On an exhale, draw knee toward nose. Inhale to extend. Exhale, bring it in. Last one, we'll inhale, extend. On the exhale, hug your knee in, but rock all the way forward and land your right foot. Pause here. We're going to make our transition to standing into a high lunge. But this time, really notice how you can soften and smooth this out. Gradually releasing your hands, floating your torso up. We'll meet that with more speed later on. Just getting a feel for the mechanics for now. Set up in your high lunge. Think right hip back, left hip forward. Tailbone anchors slightly down. If it feels of interest, you can always cactus out your arms and invite in a gentle back bend, maintaining that neutrality through your pelvis. Inhale back through center if you left it. On the exhale, we're going to straighten into the right leg any amount, bend into the left as your hands come down by your sides, palms face forward. Funky strengthening form. Inhale, come back up, high lunge. And then on the exhale, hinge it forward toward a power lunge. Come up onto your back big toe. You can always hop that foot forward. Let's sweep your arms by our sides and gently lift that back leg up. Lift until you feel your left glute kick on to support that leg. Pause here. On the inhale, we're going to come to standing. Bring your left knee with you. Left hand can catch left knee. Let's reach this right arm up. Gently lean back against this left leg. Find the balance. And come back up through center. From here, release your left leg. And we're going to shoot it back. Arms come back. But we tilt forward. You can bring your hands down to the mat for support as we find a standing split form. You can always bend and straighten into your right leg, finding a level of sensation that feels good to you. This time we're going to lower left foot near right and slide right toes back. Lower your right knee, left hand to left knee, right arm lifts up. Say hello to your low lunge. Neutral pelvis, square hips. Find your breath. From here, we can bring both arms up. We're going to experiment with bringing our hands down as we straighten into that left leg. You might need to slide your heel forward a bit and then press hands forward. So we're in a half split variation. On the inhale, arms come up. We bend back into that left leg. Maybe it's a little bit wider stance than we're used to for our low lunge. Exhale, hands are going to come down and press forward. You might feel this just engages some of the nerves in our arms and even down through our hips. You might feel a little different sensation here. Inhale, bring our arms back up, bend back into that left leg. Once more, exhale to straighten those arms and that front leg. Inhale to bring it back up. And on exhale, this time we plant our hands, step it back into a plank. Option to move through any variety of a vinyasa, perhaps meeting a chaturanga, perhaps not. Maybe finding a child's form. Whatever feels of interest to you. We'll all meet back in a downward facing dog. We're gonna go through that on the left side, and then we're gonna go through it all again, but working on more fluidity, since our bodies will be a little bit more familiar with those forms, with those transitions. So let's start with left leg lifting. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lift. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lift. This time look forward. Exhale, bring that foot all the way to the front edge. Pause here. Get light in your hands. Feel the support of your core as you float your way up, high lunge. Square out and neutralize your hips. Feel you some steadiness here. Potentially invite in a gentle back bend. Return to neutral if you left it. And then we'll straighten that front leg as our hands come down by our sides. Bend into that back leg. Get to know this funky form. It might feel better to not lock out the front leg, but to keep a micro bend in it. Inhale, back up, high lunge. Exhale, power lunge. Come up onto your back big toe. Float your hands by your sides as you lift your back leg all the way until you feel that glute kick on. Feel this strength here. Come up to standing, bring your right knee with you. Catch your right knee with your right hand. Lift your left arm up, find a gentle lean back. You almost feel the gracefulness of this form. And then gently lever out, finding a warrior three for just a moment before transitioning into that standing split. Hands can be on the mat or floating. Might bend or straighten into your left leg, moving toward or away from sensation as you see fit. Lower your right foot. Slide your left toes back. Right hand to right knee. Left arm lifts. Low lunge. Stretching out the portions of that left leg that we just got a lot of strength and support from through the rest of that sequence. Both arms can lift. And again, we're going to play with lowering hands and pressing them forward as we straighten through the right leg. You might need to adjust where your heel is. Inhale to bend back in any amount, only as deep as feels safe. Exhale, straighten and press forward. Really match it up with your breath, following your full inhale in your full exhale. Once more. Inhale forward. Exhale, frame out your front foot. Step it back to a plank. Take a vinyasa, modify a vinyasa, skip a vinyasa, whatever floats your boat. We'll all meet back at a kneeling position at the back edge of the mat. Take a moment to find your breath here, to recenter. You might check in with that Ujjayi pranayama. That's like constriction at the back of your throat that allows your breath to be audible. As we prepare to move back through that set, this time focusing on fluidity, we're going to think of one breath per movement, but truly follow your full inhale, your full exhale. As we're moving through, consider that every single moment is part of the practice. And it's not just about getting into the full expression of the pose. It's about every step of the way. And we'll try to give every step of the way equal focus, equal attention. Feel free to move a little bit behind me if that allows you to kind of map your own movements better. And as you're ready, let's go ahead and find a downward facing form. All right, one breath per movement. Let's inhale, right leg up. Exhale, round as you step it forward with intention. Inhale, slowly float up. As you exhale, straighten your front leg, bend your back, lower your hands. Inhale, back up, high lunge. Exhale, tilt it forward, power lunge. Inhale, arms and back leg float for warrior three. Inhale, bring yourself up to standing, left knee comes with you. Catch your left hand on your left knee as you lift up high on an inhale. And exhale, release back toward warrior three. Inhale here. Exhale, either keep your hands lifted or lowered. Tilt it forward, standing split. Inhale here. Exhale, bring your hands to the mat. We're gonna add a movement here, okay? So we're gonna play with some hop switches. We'll start by pressing hands in, just like we did at the start of practice, to hop backwards. And then on an exhale, rise up onto your toes, lift your left leg high, and lower down. Exhale, rise up onto your toes, lift your left leg high, and lower down. Now, if you'd like, you can rise up, and you can spring load the bottom leg and bend as you hop up. Your top leg just reaches toward the ceiling. We don't need to swing it up. And you can always stay nice low hops where your hips are not getting over your shoulders and it feels very safe. Now, if you'd like to hop switch, we're gonna hop and keep our legs straight. Hop and keep legs straight. You can do this as low to the ground as you want. You can, of course, switch legs on the ground. The hop is not necessary. But we want left leg forward, right toes back. Pause here, lower your right knee. Catch your left hand with your left knee. Inhale, lift on up. Low lunge. Exhale, hands are gonna press forward, straighten out that front leg. Inhale, bring both arms up. Exhale, press it forward. Last one, inhale up. Exhale, hinge it down. Step it back. Move through a vinyasa. Find a child's form. Take a kneel at the back edge of your mat. Those hops can be intense. Take a breath. We're going to go straight to the second side. Since we'll have talked about the hop switch, we'll move through that same progression, but you'll know it's coming. And as you're ready, you can find a downward facing form. One breath per movement. Focus on every part of the process. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step it through. Inhale to float your way up. Exhale, straighten front leg. Bend back, hands come down by your sides. Inhale back, high lunge. Exhale, power lunge, bring it forward. Inhale, hands by your sides, right leg lifts. Exhale, stay here. Inhale, bring your right knee up to standing. Catch your right knee with your right hand. Take an exhale. And then inhale, lean it all the way back. Exhale, come through center. Take both of your arms back. Sorry, I forgot we were headed for a second. Warrior three, breath in. Exhale, find your standing split with or without hands. Take a breath here. And then bring your hands down. Same progression. We'll press into those hands, shoulders are up by your ears. We're gonna exhale to lift up onto your left toes and lower. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. This time, as you exhale, you might bend into your left leg and hop your foot off the ground. Exhale to bend and hop and land. Once more. If you'd like to do the hop switches, this is where we'll keep legs straight and switching in the air. Keep legs straight and switching in the air. Once more, go up right leg forward, lower your left toes, right hand to right knee, breath in. On your exhale, hands push forward, front leg straightens. Inhale to bend. Exhale to straighten. Last time, inhale, bend. Exhale, frame out your front foot. Step back. Lower your knees. Lower your hips to your heels. Find a child's form. Scan through your body. Notice what's happening. Let's all go ahead and come up to a seated form. Take a breath here. All right, we're gonna go through that one final time. This time we know that the hop switch is there, but we also know that we don't need to take it. So please take whatever you need to do to just switch which leg is forward and which one's gonna go back. It can be on the mat, it can be in the air. You can add in any little movement that you might see fit there. But as we go, again, I encourage you to stay with your own breath. And I encourage you to think of how to smooth out everything. And part of that can start with us just slowing our breaths enough to give some space, making the movements a little longer, giving more space for those transitions. As you're ready, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, smooth lift off. Exhale, right leg straightens, left leg bends, hands come by your sides. Inhale to high lunge. Exhale, power lunge. Inhale, airplane arms, back leg lifts. Inhale, come up to standing, bring your left knee with you. Exhale, find the back bend. Inhale to lift through center. And exhale, airplane arms, standing splits. Hands might come down to the mat. Pause here for a breath. Hands come down, either a single hop switch or any other way to get left foot forward, right foot back. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, hands press forward, left leg straightens. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, frame out that front foot. Step it back, down dog. Straight to the second side, inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, float up. Exhale, front leg straightens, back leg bends, hands by your sides. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, power lunge. Inhale, lift off. Exhale, lift it up, right hand to right knee. Lean it back. Inhale, coming back up through center. And exhale, bring it back. Warrior three, but finding that bend forward. Fingertips can be on the mat. After your next breath, hands come down. Use an exhale to hop switch or otherwise change. Right hand to right knee. Inhale, both arms actually come up, sorry. And exhale, push it forward, straighten your front leg. Inhale, back up. And exhale, frame out your front foot, step it back, lower your knees. Come to a seat, hands on tops of your legs. Pause here. Find your breath. Notice what that felt like from start to end. If you liked pausing at each form, or if you liked fluidly transitioning between them. I do believe that it's more organic feeling and a little bit, I don't know, a little bit more powerful perhaps when you're not listening to my voice and you're doing it on your own. So you might tuck away the sequence and try it on your own without me narrating breaths. Another time, see how it feels when you and your body get to just be with yourselves. All right, we're gonna start to slow it down a bit. So you can begin to open your eyes. From here, we are gonna crawl back to a downward facing form. This time we're only going through something once, but we're gonna try to make it juicy as we go through it. So each part of the movement, think of as being just as important as arriving at the pose itself. So let's start by inhaling this right leg high, bend your knee, opening that hip, and then fluidly rock a little bit forward as you touch your right toes down and press your right hand up. Find your wild thing. Look down toward your left hand. Check that you're rolled to the outer edge of your left foot. We can float this right foot onto the left leg or kick it long. Look to the front edge. We're going to step that right foot toward the front. And from here, just as we practice, float your way up, high lunge. Big exhale. One more inhale. On your exhale, turn into a warrior two, palms pressing away from you. Sit bones draw toward one another. You might play with your palms facing up or down. If you liked the flex hand, palms facing away. On an inhale, gently press into your right leg. Turn both sets of toes toward the corners of your mat. Hands come up and forward as you lower into your left leg. You might lower halfway down. We want that left knee still reaching out. So if you lower to the point where it starts to angle in, then lift your hips back up. You can keep a micro bend in your right leg. That can help it feel supported here. Find your breath. Use a whole inhale to come to a wide-legged forward fold setup. Long spine, heart forward. Wait for your exhale to melt your torso down. You might catch onto your legs or traction your hands between them. Maybe you catch opposite elbows. Feel what it's like to be here for a few breaths as compared to that quicker movement we were just engaging in. On an inhale, plant your hands, lengthen your spine. We're going to soften into the knees and pivot on our feet, coming back to the front edge of the mat, but then keep twisting around. Your left foot might need to move. We're going to end up crossing our legs, facing the right long edge of the mat. Right leg is in front. You can bring your hands up to that shin, create a long spine. Hug your outer hips in, keep a micro bend in your knees. And then soften your torso down any amount. Try to evenly hold weight in your left and right feet. You might feel this in your IT band. This one actually, every time I ask someone where they feel it, it tends to be in a different spot. So it'll show up wherever along the chain is the tightest. So just notice where that is for yourself. On an inhale, let's soften into our knees enough that we can lower that left knee down, and then the right knee on top of it, setting our hips between our heels for cow face form. Inhale, long spine. Option to exhale and hinge forward, keeping both sit bones firmly rooted on the mat. Or option to tuck left elbow outside of left knee, then find a twist to the right, pressing palm to palm to keep those shoulders engaged. On an inhale, gently lift your torso back through neutral. Look toward the front edge of your mat. You can always bring your left hand down. We're going to plant the right foot and begin to unwind until we're facing the front edge. You can heel toe your right foot as wide as your mat. Both hands can come down inside of it. And then we'll soften those hips forward, finding a lizard form. You can move in and out of this. Maybe finding an abducted half split, and then a lizard. Notice for yourself if one of those feels better than the other. You can always set up shop there for a moment. Let's all bend into this right leg. Swivel that back shin parallel to the skinny edges of the mat. Right hand stays inside of the right foot. Inhale your left arm up. Reach your sit bones toward one another. Bend and straighten into this right leg any amount to find a setup that feels suitable for you. On an exhale, left hand's gonna lower. We're just gonna crawl both hands equidistant away from right foot and left knee. And then soften your torso down. It's almost like a little bit of a puppy pose happening through your arms and shoulders. Even while we have this abduction, excuse me, happening in the right hip. Slide your hands in as you feel ready to. We'll swivel back to the front edge, bringing that left leg back into line. And then step the right knee back next to your left, come up to kneeling. Take a moment to wiggle through your hips. Maybe do some hula hoops or some figure eights. Notice the difference between your left and right legs, maybe left and right shoulders. And as you feel ready, we'll enter back into a downward facing form. This time, inhale, left leg lifts. Bend your knee, opening that hip. Gently rock it forward as you touch down. Let every part of your transition into a wild thing be equally important. Gaze down toward your right hand. Left foot can hover or land on your right leg. Kick up. Either way, we're going to step it toward the front edge. And inhale, float up, high lunge. On your next exhale, open it up to a warrior two, palms face away from you. Sit bones draw toward one another. Experiment with the orientation of your hands, of your wrists. We're going to move into that Skandasana. Again, focus on fluidity here. As you straighten into your left leg, enough that you can turn both sets of toes out. Hands come forward as you soften into your right leg, any amount. Might micro bend into your left. You can always put hands wherever feels supportive. Use your whole inhale to bring yourself into a wide-legged stance with a long spine. And then your whole exhale to soften into this fold. And inhale, let's lengthen and look forward. Exhale, soften into your knees. Begin to pivot on your feet and bring this right leg with you as you rotate all the way to the left long edge of your mat. Left leg is now crossed in front of right. You can bring your hands to your front shin, lengthen your spine. Micro bend your knees. Hug your outer hips in. And exhale, fold it forward any amount. Inhale, begin to soften into your knees. Your hands can come down. Lower your right knee. Left knee stacks atop of it. As you set up for your cow face form, inhale, long spine. Exhale, you might hinge at your hips, keeping your sit bones planted. Or you might tuck right elbow outside of left knee. When everything's twisted, I sometimes have to look down and actually think, which leg is that? And go ahead and be here for a couple of breaths. Gently unwind through center. Face the front edge. As you continue to unfold, make your way into that setup for a lizard form. Both hands inside of your left foot. You might hinge forward with your hips and then backward toward a half split with abduction. Forward and back. Or you might find one of those that feels better than the other. And you might stay set up there. Let's all come back toward that original lizard form. Left hand stays planted by left foot. Swivel your back shin parallel to the skinny edges and inhale your right arm up. Sit bones draw toward one another. Find your lowered side angle. On an exhale, your right hand can come down to the mat. We'll crawl both hands equidistant away from your right knee and your left foot. Keep your sit bones drawing toward each other and let your torso soften. Gently crawl back in. Pivot back to face the front edge of your mat. Bring your left knee back and come to kneeling. Scan through your body. Notice if you feel more balanced this time being here. And we'll set up for a camel form before we really take it down to our last couple of forms of the evening. So you might have your hands on your hips. You can press your hips forward as you lift through your heart, finding a gentle back bend. Inhale to lift up. And on the exhale, we're going to find our way to a seat. You can either cross your ankles and rock over them to a seat, or you can swing your legs out. Either way. Catch the back sides of your legs and roll your way to your back. Take a moment to notice what sensations exist in your body. For one of our final forms, you might bring your right ankle toward your left knee, flexing your feet. Use the muscles of your legs and core to press your right knee away and draw your left knee in, just enough to feel some sensation in your outer right hip. There's an option to stay here, perhaps finding a soothing rock from side to side. Or there's an option to lower the whole unit of your legs over to the left, finding what's kind of a supine twist and a reclined pigeon form all at once. They're both equal value options, so take whatever suits you. Begin to unwind wherever you found yourself. Kick your legs out. And then we'll go left ankle toward right knee. Flex feet. Use the muscles of your legs and core to create just enough sensation to feel useful to your body. Stay here in stillness or rocking. Or perhaps lower the entire unit of your legs to the right, landing in a supine twist. Unwind from wherever you were. Kick your legs out. Scan through your body. Notice if there's any final things that you need, whether it be a bridge or a wheel, a happy baby, plow pose, more traditional supine twist. You might be ready for Shavasana. Wherever you are beginning to settle into your final form, remember there's no one way you need to be there. It can look like anything. You're welcome to have props or not, to have legs up a wall or to have your hands resting on your torso. Notice if as you arrive, you can release control of your breath. You can soften the muscles of your body on the front side and the back side from top to bottom. You holding in your jaw, in your eyes. Hold in your mind's eye what it is to be in this body in this moment in time. For your mind, your breath, and your body to all be doing the same thing. Begin to ease your way from this moment of stillness. You might invite in a deeper breath. You might add in little wiggles or movements. Maybe even a full body stretch or a sigh or a yawn. We'll eventually make our way to a seated form. Take your time and method in getting there. Once you arrive, you might sit tall, lowering one ear toward one shoulder, pulling the other shoulder away. Gently release through center and go to the other side. Gently release through center. Inhale your arms up, palms touching overhead, and exhale them down through heart center. May you continue to carry the strength and the softness both cultivated here on the mat out into all you do. Namaste.